how often do you guys, like, what percentage of your day do you guys think you spend interacting with some sort of screen? Like, I mean, I see there's people over there that are not paying attention and looking at their phone. Someone over there, texting that, maybe that crush or something. We spend hours and hours every day interacting with screens, computers, laptops, phones, tablets, whatever. Imagine for a second that you are blind and you can't do that because you can't see. How would you ever work in today's world, right? If you can't send an email or, do a spreadsheet. Well, our next speaker is a guy named Fernando Botelho, and he started a thing called F123, which is a really cool thing. It's an open source operating system and software that you can plug into a computer, and then if you're blind, you can use that computer. Isn't that cool? And the most remarkable thing about it is that he built that thing while he himself is blind. So, without further ado, let's check the video.
Hello, everyone. My name is Fernando Botelho, and I'm responsible for the F123 project. First, let me tell you why we're doing this project. About 30 years ago, I was finishing high school, and in the last 2 years, I lost most of my eyesight. Now, I was a very privileged kid. I had private lessons with tutors every day after school. And even with that, I was just slightly above average in terms of my grades when I finished high school. A few months after that, I had a chance to come right here to Miami to an organization called the Lighthouse for the Blind. And I learned all about assistive technology. 2 years later, I started college here in the US. And instead of being slightly above average, then when I had the right technology, I was fourth in a freshman class with 904 students. Now, that is the kind of impact we can have in the life of a blind kid when we give him or her the right technology. Today, 90% of kids who are blind or visually impaired in developing countries have no access to education. If that was not absurd enough, the small minority that has some access to software usually uses software that is totally outdated. Then there is a very small group that has access to expensive and competitive software. But as soon as they finish the training they receive on their local NGO and they try to get an internship or a job, they realize that neither the companies in their city nor their own family can afford the technology that they became dependent on. Now, F123 takes a different approach. We use free and open source software, the type of technology that is being developed by little companies like Google, and even public institutions such as the city of Munich. Now, while they focus on things like spreadsheets and word processors and other day-to-day uses, we make sure, with our limited resources, we focus on making sure that those applications are accessible and usable by the blind. Let me actually show you a little bit of F123.
Speech enabled. Demonstrating. F123. F123, technology that enables right double ankle. F123 project awards and recognition link. Loading. Please wait. 46%. Finished loading F123, technology that enables right double ankle.
So it's not just
log link.
speech synthesis. There is also magnification, since there's a lot of kids that need large fonts to be able to use the computer effectively. A partnership with the ABC Foundation will allow us to scale up a project that has been designed with scaling from its inception. A key challenge that we face is that persons with disabilities are in every social class, in every ethnic group, and in every city around the world. So we need an effective mass media strategy to efficiently reach out and raise awareness among those people, specifically among the teachers and parents of kids with disabilities, make them aware of what's possible, what can be achieved when their kids have access to the right technology. Once you are aware, you take action. And action is at the core of any and all social change. But of course, it's not just about visibility. We are going to use those resources to improve the quality of the speech synthesizer we have on the Spanish version of F123, as well as improve some of the training materials that we include with our software. Awareness is really everything, isn't it? When I came to Miami 30 years ago or so, I came with the expectation that I would never find a job. 30 years later, I can tell you, I did find a few. I worked in an NGO in New York. I worked in a small company in Houston. I worked at a United Nations agency in Geneva. And I worked at a large multinational in Zurich. But best of all, I'm working at F123 in Brazil right now because of messages such as this one. We are bringing light to the lives of many kids with disabilities around the world in over 20 countries. However, these are small numbers relative to the total population that we need to reach. So please help us out. Let's partner. Let's make them, let us see the light so that these kids can be productive members of society. Thank you very much.
Fernando, sense, one of the things looking at your presentation, which is remarkable, give me a sense, how quickly can someone work using F123? I mean, is there a sort of, is it slower than you would think, or how does it work? How quickly can you work?
Well, when somebody blind starts to use the system, they are getting used to the voice, and it's more or less at the same speed we speak. But a few hours later, they start to get used to the speech, and this happens with any system. They get used to the speech, and they start listening at a much faster rate than we speak. It's really the equivalent of what you all do when you're reading. You read at a much faster rate than you speak, and the same happens. So when somebody listens to F123 at a normal speech, not slowed down as in the demonstration, but at the normal rate, they say, well, what language is that? It's, and we already have it in Spanish, Portuguese, and English, but if it's at the normal fast rate, people don't recognize it.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
how
you.
cool is that?
Thank you.